Right, let's get into some of these huge games. Let's kick off with the Championship and the Severnside Derby. We've got a very special guest, someone he's got some history with Cardiff City. Scott Murray joins me right now. Scott Murray played 255 games I've got here, 49 goals. Is that right, Scott? You probably know better than me.
That must just be league games, I think.
So you get close to the 1,000 mark, mate.
I think altogether that was just under 450. So I think.
Oh wow! Okay, right. I'm gonna have a word with. I'm gonna have a word with Wikipedia. Right. Massively.
And yeah, not good enough. No. I'd say, as I said, I had a great time here and loved every single minute of it.
Absolutely, so much so that you stuck around. You know, you're the kit man for Bristol City, which I want to dive into all of that because I'm sure you got some amazing kind of insights and stories on all of that. But first of all, let's talk about your history with this game. First of all, for someone who I wasn't that aware of Cardiff and Bristol City being such a huge game, but it really is, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Bristol and Wales is literally next door to each other. I think it's a 45-minute drive. I think just over the Severn Bridge. I think the good thing is now you don't have to pay to go over to Wales, which is handy. I think, as I said, it's a very, very fiercely contested derby. I think the old Ninian Park was always a very hostile place, and it's probably the same as Ashton Gate now before we got it all done up nicely. I think the old stadiums, and it was fiercely contested. And as I said, it was never a nice place to go in Ninian Park, and as I said, we weren't very well liked over there.
Yeah, well, you say that, Scott. There's a couple of reasons why you probably weren't liked there, and you say it's a difficult place to go. I'm not sure you're that bothered, to be honest, because there is an iconic goal, of course, that you scored in this fixture, which we're going to show now. So feel free to talk about it. I've got a few questions here as well. Here's your first.
Yeah, this is the first one. Yeah, that's the first one. Yeah. That's Dean Gordon.
Who'd you put on the backside there? Dean Gordon.
It was Dean Gordon. I think they just signed him on loan from Middlesbrough, and I was actually the day before I was panicking because obviously he'd come from the Premier League, and as you said, and this second goal is literally a minute after, literally 60 seconds after. Wow. Dean Gordon again, and the keepers are a stinker. And as I said, I've run down.
This is the moment, isn't it? Here it comes.
The whole Bob Bank. I find out it was called the Bob Bank, and it's for all Cardiff, the lively ones. And this is me trying to catch some money afterwards as well. They're chucking money at me, so I made a few quid that day. That's for sure.
I bet you did. Well, and I bet you made a few quid in drinks down the years after that for putting it out. I think they did not save that.
I know, yeah. And the thing is, he was a Scottish international as well, so it says it all, really. Wow. But as I said, the celebrations probably saved me a few nights out, I think. And as I said, it's a big derby down here, and they're games that you always want to win, derby games. And as I said, it's even tastier this year because I think Cardiff have got a few ex-Bristol City lads in their ranks as well, and obviously big Aidan Flint, who's a top scorer in the league as well. So it's going to be good fun.
It is, yeah, and that iconic moment of you sort of holding your ear to the crowd, it's amazing, isn't it? It's something that football fans will have both missed the feeling and also gone, I forgot about this when the player goes and does that. And that is an iconic image now, isn't it? You were telling me before when we came on air that's a huge flag that's shown in these kind of games, isn't it?
Yeah. I think as well, it all started by, I don't know if you remember, Andrew Jordan, Joe Jordan's son. I think he played at Bristol City and he was at Cardiff at the time. I think we were lining up in the tunnel literally 30 seconds before going out to the pitch. And Jock, as we called him, he's come up to me and goes, Scotty, listen, if you score today, tap your head, which I didn't know was the infamous Ayatollah. So I think it's one of them. Cardiff players do it to their own fans. It's brilliant. But I think if an opposing player does it to the Cardiff fans, yes, Sam Haman, yeah. He always used to walk around the stadium. And the funny thing was, in the tunnel, there was a big moose's head, a random moose head in the tunnel. And as I said, Jock's come up to me, he said, tap my head. So when I scored the first goal, I've tapped my head in front of the stand behind the goal. And it got a bit lively. And I was thinking, oh, wow. And as I said, I've scored literally 60 seconds after. So I've decided to tap my head in front of the Bob Bank, which was their head cases stand. Luckily, the good thing about the Bob Bank, it had fencing. So no one could actually get to me. Well, there was no fencing. I'm not sure I'd be here now to chat about the goals. But as I said, I did the Ayatollah.
Just the loose change that came through.
The change actually managed to pay for the bridge fare home.
Lovely. Well, there you go.
Perfect.
So let's talk about you being a kitman then with this game as well, because I find that, what's it like being the other side of it? Because you are, it's not understated, you are an absolute legend with Bristol City. So for you to come and take that job, I guess it's, I don't know, do you love it? What have you learned from being a kitman?
Do you know what? I remember getting the phone call from Derek McInnes. He's phoned me up, and I was working at the club in the commercial department at the time. I was still playing part time. I was going to wait to turn 37, so the legs were probably, I was playing at Bath City. The legs were starting to. Actually, the legs had gone 20 years before, but I think so. Derek McInnes has phoned me up and said, "Scotty, listen, the kitman's leaving." He said, "You'd be ideal for the job. I think everybody knows you." And obviously I got a little bit of banter about me. So I think I've had a little think about it, and then it was an easy decision because, as I said, I was nearly turning 37, and the legs weren't holding up as much as I'd like to. And as I said, it's a job that I could probably do for 20, 30 years, I think. And you know what? It's probably the ideal job for me. I think you can have a laugh and a joke, and I know players like to take the mickey at times, and the good thing is they try and take the mickey out of me, they'll probably get it back twice as bad. So I think the kitmans, they've got to be able to look after themselves as well. And as I said, as soon as the players see if you're a little pushover, then your kitman career could be in turmoil before it's even started. So I think I tend to give out as much as I get.
Good. Yeah, you keep everyone on their feet.
Yeah, sure.
I think that's what people often talk about when they leave the game, is that they miss all of that, being in the dressing room. So for you to be that's wonderful. I've got 2 questions before I let you go. So
Okay.
The first one, you can get ready for this one. It will of course be a prediction for the game. But the first one I want to ask you is Nigel Pearson. He's not Dutch. Pearson. And the gilets and the short sleeves. Are you okay with that? Have you let him know that this is not practical? How are you finding his style choices?
Right, would you tell Nige, the gaffer? I definitely wouldn't. And listen, whatever the gaffer wants, he gets off me. Don't worry about it. He's one of the ones that if whatever he asks for, he gets it. So I think no, the gaffer's superb, honestly. And as I said, it's been a breath of fresh air this season. I think we're creating so many chances, and as I said, we're just not taking them at the moment. And I think at the end of last season, it was probably around the other way. We weren't really creating much. So I think the gaffer's been brilliant. The players he's brought in, James, Kingy, I think Danny Simpson, they've all fitted in perfectly. So I think it's been enjoyable, and the gaffer, he's great fun, but he's one of them you wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of, which up to now I haven't. And as I said, right now he's a great man, and as I said, I thoroughly enjoy working with him, and I know the players do as well.
Yeah, I think he's that sort of that fatherly figure. That's, I think, it's kind of it feels like it's needed there a little bit. I think he just needs that time to get it right, I guess. Yeah. So that last question, obviously, it's from that Bristol City point of view. What do you expect from the game, and what do you think is going to be important within the game, and what's your prediction?
As it's going to be a very loud stadium, that's for sure. I think both sets of fans don't tend to like each other much. So I think, do you know what's a typical derby game? And I think them playing at home, they'll probably feel like they're favourites. And as I said, but we're quietly confident. I think we get to go there with nothing to lose. I think, which is usually a good thing. Even the games back in the day when I played, we were always the underdog playing away to Cardiff. So it's actually quite nice. And as I said, I'm quietly confident for an away win.
Okay, away win. I mean, I'm not surprised, and that's fine. And just in case Nigel walks in, I think that's the safe thing to say as well. Scott, it's been an absolute joy to chat to you. You were often an enemy for me in my teenage years as a Bristol City player, but it turns out you're all right. So it's lovely to meet you, and we'll have to get you on again. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you very much for asking me on. Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget, every single Thursday, 4 p.m, I will be live on the League of 72 channel talking about all things EFL, looking at all 72 clubs. So if you want to join us for the exclusive access and, of course, watching some of your favourite goals from your team, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell.